Welcome back to it, you guys. You are still tuned in to Hectic 99. Now, have you ever wondered how they get the food in some magazines to look so good in pictures? Well, today we're hanging out with Lisa, who's going to be dispelling all of those, secrets that they use to get the food to look so good in photography. So, Lisa, welcome to Hectic 99.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, I want to know, as a food stylist, what is the process that you undergo when you're preparing, for a shoot?
We go through quite a few processes depending on what we're going to be styling. Today I'm going to be doing a hamburger for you, and I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to go about it. So most of the time I have everything prepped by my assistant, who helps me a lot. And then what I do is I assemble it with all the tricks of the trade and a few other bits and pieces.
Okay, now speaking about the tricks of the trade, can you talk about some of those with us and share those secrets?
Probably one of my biggest tricks is, not really a trick, it's what I use the most, is glycerine and water. And that's a mixture of, as I say, glycerine mixed with water, equal quantities. And it comes in a spray bottle like this. And if I want to spritz something up, I spray it on there.
So what does this help with?
It refreshes it. So as you can see, it looked quite dull beforehand, and now it's looking a bit juicy, and the glycerine keeps it moist as well.
Oh, wow.
And doesn't dry out like water.
Okay, so that's one of the tricks that you use to maintain, that fresh, tasty look. What else do you do to make sure that the food is as appealing as possible?
We use things like food glue, which I'll show you what I'm going to use that for a bit later. I use my little pair of scissors. I use paintbrushes. I use my tweezers, which are over here. If I want to pick any small little pieces up like that. Whoa. I use my blowtorch a lot because often at times the food will stand for quite long periods on set, and then if I need to reheat it, I don't want to move it away from the camera, bring it into the kitchen, reheat it. So I do it with quite direct heat, and that's with the blowtorch.
Okay, so it's like a little touch-up.
It's a little touch-up, exactly.
Okay, I think you should actually get into the demo and show us how you actually, put together a hamburger.
Okay, so what I've got over here is I've got my chips, which have been ready and fried.
Okay, cool.
Standing over there. I've got my hamburger roll, which I've just grilled lightly in the pan. I'm going to apply some food glue to the top of this over here. Okay,
so what is this going to do?
I'm going to add the sesame seeds, and what this does is that I can actually control how many seeds go onto the burger.
Oh, wow.
Onto the buns, because often you'll buy a bun and it's got too many, or it's got too few, or some are too dark. In this way we can actually toast our own sesame seeds and we can place them. I have been known to spend hours placing sesame seeds onto a bun perfectly.
So what are you going to be using to apply them? Just your fingers?
I'm going to sprinkle them on, and if anything needs to get moved down, I can use my tweezers to do that.
Oh, wow.
And then depending on the brief from the client, they can say they want more, they can say they want less.
That is so crazy.
So if I wanted to move any of them at this point, I could literally place them individually bit by bit, which we don't have too much time to do for.
Okay, so what would the next step be?
The next step is I'm going to place the lettuce.
Okay.
And to do that, I like to use like a bright green lettuce.
Okay.
And then what I do is I actually pin it using pins.
Pin it down.
I pin it down so it doesn't move.
This is so intense. Who would have thought that this is what's going on when you see, the pictures of burgers and things at your favorite burger place? It's so crazy.
And what this does is it'll help the lettuce stay in place, so when I place anything on top of it, it doesn't slip and slide.
Okay. So for you, how did you actually get into food styling?
I trained to be a chef, and at the time I always had a particular interest in plating of the food, which was the final part of making it look pretty. At that point I didn't know that there was a career in food styling until I worked at a retailer, and then we used to do our own shoots, and then I was exposed to that world. And then after a couple of years I left and I started my own.
Okay, so let's move on to the next
step. At this point I'm going to place the tomato. What I often do is I cut out the seeds in the middle, because often you don't see them, and then also this just prevents the burger from becoming too wet. So I actually literally cut out the centers like that.
Okay. And then for all of our viewers that are watching and are maybe interested in getting into this career path, what would you suggest they study as someone who is actually in this line of work?
A background in food definitely does help, and especially as a chef, because as you can see, everything is built up stage by stage. So if I'm going to style a stew, for example, and make it from scratch, I'm not going to cook it all together, because often the meat overcooks, the veggies overcook. So what I do is I cook everything separately. So that does help to have some sort of idea of how food is prepared and how food is cooked. So definitely a course in chefing or something like that.
Okay, cool. So let's finish up over here.
So I've made a piping bag for the mayonnaise, and what this is going to do is
Why can't you just use...
No, it's going to make way too much of a mess. And by this way, I can actually pipe it and direct it exactly how I want it.
Yeah.
And that's how you get that sort of like frilly perfect look.
Okay.
And then also this depends on the brief of the client if they want it like that. So now also what I've done over here is I've prepared my burger patty.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you how to get those perfect grill marks.
Okay.
So I've heated a skewer, I've done a few lines already. I'm going to do the final one.
Oh, wow.
And that's how you do that. So,
okay,
sorry.
I'm
going to turn that off. And then just to give it a bit of a glisten, it's just a mixture of barbecue sauce, and sometimes I add a bit of golden syrup to it to give it a bit of color. And this will be the point where I'll probably use my glycerine and water mixture and the blowtorch.
Okay, so I think we should finish it up.
So just spritz it like that quickly.
The final product.
Pop that on top. Pop that on top. Pop that onto a presentation board over there.
Oh, wow.
Add a few crisps like that. Sprinkling of salt. And there you go.
Okay, cool. And there you have it, you guys. A picture-perfect burger right there. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Pleasure. Thank you
I'm
for
sure
having
that
me.
our viewers have learned so much from you and the world of food styling, you guys. But right now, it's time for us to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, more hectic.
Hectic.